What's up, guys? Welcome to 𝙄𝙩𝙬𝙚𝙬 podcast. I hope you guys are having a blessed day whenever you see this. And I wanted to introduce you guys to my interview 36, the one and only, the photographer, the videographer, the ex-DJ. Dude, everybody I'm bringing on here does everything, but SunFire Films, thank you for hopping on, bro. It's been real so far talking to you, even before the lens.
Right.
And, you know, you've been following me too because I had somebody, and, you know, we're going to dig into your life, but, like, I want to talk about how we first met. And I actually had someone recommend me to you. You remember that?
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but it was, like, somebody really close to me. And I was trying to find someone who can be behind the scenes. You know, just seeing what we've been going through and stuff like that. But how you been, bro? You been good?
I'm good, man. I'm maintaining, man.
Just been vibing, bro?
Yeah, man.
What's been the daily vibes of, you know, SunFire Films?
Daily vibes, man. I mean, every day is, I mean, they're not always the same, man, but the routine is pretty much like the same. Got a wife, got a kid, man. Got to take care of that.
Congratulations on that. You know,
yeah, man. I appreciate that, man.
And that makes you grow. That allows you to grow every single day. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have those type of things in your life, then you're like looking around like, how do I live? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's what we live to do. I probably sound mad confusing. It's a little late. I normally don't do interviews this late, but we getting it cracking. So let's start off from the basics. Where are you from?
Born and raised in Mount Pleasant, man. My family, like my mom and dad and me and sister and all that, like I grew up in Rosemead. I don't know if you're familiar with like the Rosemead, Hickory Shadows area.
Hickory sounds familiar.
Like Rosemead, Hickory Shadows, that's where my family house like was. Okay. But my dad's side of the family's from Green Hill. My mom's side of the family's from Old Village. Wow. I spent a good majority of my life in Old Village, so like I'm from Rosemead, but like I'm Old Village like all the way, man. Like I was in Old Village like every day, like every weekend, you know. The church I went to was in the Old Village, you know, so I'm Old Village forever.
No, I feel you. So like, was that, I know we talked about it before, that was before Wando was actually Wando now.
Yeah, the new one.
You know, so how was that, bro? That was a big change.
People look at like the way that Mount Pleasant is now, and it's like so different from when I was growing up, man. Like the old Wando, you know, I went to is where Lucy Beckham is now.
Yeah, right.
You know, so that was cool, man, back in a long time ago. Yeah. But yeah, man, Mount Pleasant has changed a lot, man. A lot of new things have came through, a lot of new different buildings and housing, like communities, and you know, like a lot of different people who aren't from Mount Pleasant. You know
that's what I'm saying, bro.
A lot of people stop saying y'all from Mount Pleasant. Y'all not from Mount Pleasant. Y'all live in Mount Pleasant.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's changed a lot, man.
No, and that's cool, man. So do you like rep it? Like, do you go around and just tell everybody I'm from the Mount P, or is it more just like a quiet thing? Because we gotta start speaking up about it. Not just you, but you know what I mean, just in general.
I mean, I always like to say, man, play around. Like I'll be like, y'all not from Mount Pleasant, y'all just live here. But you know, I don't talk about it too often. I mean, if you know me, then you probably know I'm from Mount Pleasant. Or if you know you want to ask me like where I'm from, then you know I'll tell you.
No, facts. Some people put I'm a Mount Pleasant baby on their Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's pretty funny. Yeah. But no, other than that, like, did you have anything like crazy experiences in high school and stuff like that like you know what I mean, shaped you into becoming a better person, or even just like, you know, a life lesson?
I wouldn't say necessarily like high school, but you know, younger years, man. Like I was blessed to come from like a pretty good family. You know, I came from my mom and my grandma. My dad was around too, but you know, like my mom and grandma like definitely like showed me a lot of love and a lot of like things that like as a kid you don't really pay attention a lot to, like family time, because you're a kid and you just want to run around and you want to play and you want to hang out with your friends and stuff like that. But like there's a lot of things that they taught me, a lot of like love, a lot of things that I look at now that I'm like, I really appreciate that I got those moments in my life, because once you grow up and you start to realize what life is really about, like you appreciate like, okay, like this is what I came from and this is what I stand on and this is who I am as a man or a woman or whatever. And like they definitely like instilled a lot of things into me. So not necessarily like school or anything like that, but definitely like family and growing up and like a lot of like, you know, a lot of like inspiration. They taught me to like, you know, like work hard and be a good person, and you know, definitely a lot of like good moments.
Yeah, no, and definitely, I could just tell, even talking to you before the interview, bro, you definitely have a great mind, and your messages are very powerful, bro.
I appreciate that.
And keep doing your inspirational videos. I know everybody sees them things. You're killing them, bro. They look great. And I couldn't even complain about the fact of how you promote yourself. And we were just talking about that, which I personally think it's cool to see you being in your own lane.
Right.
Which is, how do you feel about that? Like, do you try to always stay, like, wake up and stay in SunFire Films lane? Or is it more of like a, you know what I mean? Like, you're just doing whatever.
I mean, it's
a kind of weird question.
But I gotta be me at the end of the day. And then, like, if you know me, and not even with, like, film or anything like that, like, if you really know me, you know that, like, I always want to do things my own way. I don't really like listening to people. Like, I kind of want to not necessarily do things differently on purpose, but, like, I try to find a way to be, like, you know, like, I don't want to do it exactly like how everybody else does.
Which gets you really far, man.
Yeah.
It shows a lot of authenticness in you. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people try to copy the wave or try to copy this and that. And you, like we were just talking, that's some real stuff, man. Like, I hear a lot of people take the criticism in and just go with it. Yeah. You actually, you know? So that's really cool, bro. It's for me to see.
Yeah, I gotta be me, and, like, not to, like, be disrespectful to anybody, but, like, if you tell me something, like, I'll listen to what you gotta say, but, like, if I don't want to do it, I'm not gonna do it. You know? And then I got, like, some old heads, like, older, like, I got, like, an uncle. He's like a real, like, professional guy, and he comes from, like, figuring out how to do things back in the day type of ways, and he'd be like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And it's not to be disrespectful, but it's like, there's more than one way to reach a goal. There's, like, you know, there's more than one way to get to a destination. So just because you went this way doesn't mean I can't go another way and still get there.
No, that's
you know, so, like, that's definitely how I've always been, man. It's just, like, there's more than one way to be successful, and do what works for you. And if somebody wants you to do what they want to do, then it's like, you can listen to what they got to say. But if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it, you know? And that's just the way it is.
So everybody's life is different.
Yeah, you know?
So let's stir back, because, like, I really appreciate you. I love this interview so far.
Right.
Let's stir back a little bit, because how I do things with the interviews is kind of different. Yeah. Let's go back to high school. So, like, after high school, what were you doing? Like, what was the present moment of that? Like,
okay, for the people who don't know, like, before film, I was DJing, I was doing music.
What age? Like, what time frame?
I mean, since I was a kid, I was always, like, involved in music in some way with, like, band or chorus or, like, stuff like that. But, like, DJing started when I was about 16. And, you know, I did that, you know.
Was it, like, a DJ Flash type thing, or was it just, like house music type thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what direction were you? What
I mean, back then, you know, it was like, I grew up on rap, hip hop, R&B, and stuff like that.
So house party stuff.
Yeah, so, like, as a kid, you know, you're not getting no clubs or no big gigs like that. So, like, I was doing birthday parties, or I was doing, like, friends' little get-togethers, or, like, if my family had a cookout, I'd play music and stuff like that. So I did that, and then after high school, I graduated, and then I went to the school called Full Sail. It's in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's, like, 18, 19?
Yeah, 18, 19.
Wow, that's
I graduated high school and then moved to Orlando.
Wow.
And
that's a big change.
Yeah, but you know, the school was, for the people who don't know about Full Sail, it's pretty popular within the industry over the years. But, like, it's a school for, like, recording arts and digital media and show production and graphic design. So it's like all the artsy kids who, like, didn't want to go to regular college.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
How'd you get into that? Did you just find it on, like,
internet? Online. Funny. I heard people talking about it and decided to go down there.
No, I'm glad you did it, man, because not many people can say that. So how was it living in Orlando? Because that's pretty cool.
I loved it, man. Like, till this day, like, Orlando is, like, my favorite place in the world, man.
Definitely.
Like,
Disney World, all that stuff.
Nah, not Disney World.
Or no, not Universal.
I mean, Disney World's there, but, like, I don't know. I never did all that, man. I mean, I did it, but, you know, like, that's like people who live in Atlanta. They don't go to Six Flags every day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you know, so, like, you know, you probably don't do a lot of stuff that tourists do down here.
No, I do everything. I'm not gonna lie. I just like doing that stuff. Right. Not like anything major, but you know what I mean. I like to go to Folly. Myrtle Beach is definitely really cool. I haven't been there in a minute, but you know what I mean. So, like, after, you know, going to the school and stuff, did you, like, keep DJing, or what was the next step after?
Yeah, so I was still DJing. I did stuff for, there's UCF in Orlando, University of Central Florida. I did, like, some hip-hop shows for them. I did a couple clubs, like, around the downtown area.
Did you bump into anybody, or?
Like, famous people?
Yeah, or not even famous, but just people that you collaborate till this day?
No, I mean, I have a lot of, like, friendships and people that I still keep in contact with, but no real big collabs. I mean, and celebrities you see lots of people.
No, yeah, no. I just meant like, you know, someone impactful. Like, you know, you met like a best friend at that time, or you know what I'm saying? Some moment like that.
No.
That's cool.
But I really wasn't big into like the club scene. I did it, but like my main thing was like I've always wanted to like promote and help other artists and stuff like that. So I was doing mixtapes, and I was more like helping out like the up and coming artists. I did that for many years. After that, I stayed in Orlando for a couple more years after that. Moved to DC for a little while. My aunt, she lives in DC, so I lived with her for a little while, and the family kind of wanted me to, you know, get out and do something different. Yeah. I think they kind of really just wanted me to leave Florida, because like I wasn't stagnant, but you know, like when you pay for your kids to go to school, and it's kind of like, okay, like what's going on, you know, So my aunt, she was working at Howard University at the time, and she knew people in radio, so she's like, you know, you might want to go down here, I could kind of help you out. I lived there for a little bit, didn't really like it, I wasn't into radio, so I left there, went to Atlanta. And then actually my old roommate, we actually like went to high school together, and my old roommate, when I lived in Florida, we met back up and moved to Atlanta together, and he was rapping, and I was kind of helping him out with his music career a little bit, and I was still doing my mixtapes. And then I eventually started doing DVDs and a lot of
mixtapes and just I'm just trying to like, you know, clarify for the people, like you were making your own music or just the DJing part of it? Like you
just
were
the DJing part. So it was like some stuff was like, say an artist had a new single, like, you know, I put some of that stuff on there, remix some of the songs.
What was your favorite type of mix off the top of your head? Like, do you have any like type of songs that you just feel like are the best ones back to back to back?
No. I mean a lot of the stuff, I mean, I guess, you know, it was a little bit of everything, because like I've met so many different types of people, so there's so many different styles. But, you know, it was definitely like, you know, just helping out a lot of up and coming artists. And then, you know, like it would be singles. And then there was sometimes we'd go in the studio and just do stuff from scratch and be like, okay, like this song is just for you and for your own mixtape, and this is something exclusive. Yeah. And then I did that for many years, man. A lot of people know me from like being a DJ.
That's dope, man. Yeah. Where have you DJ'd at? Like and I know you said that everywhere in Florida and stuff, but in Charleston, where have you DJ'd at around?
Actually, people missed that wave, because like I was so young when I was here, I didn't do clubs. And then when I left and came back, I was already like so big on like mixtapes and doing DVDs and stuff like that. I didn't really do clubs and stuff like that. There was some nights where, you know, I'd like throw my own parties and stuff like that, but it was never like, I was never really into clubs that much. It was more like promoting and helping out like local up and coming artists.
And you're a good person for that, man. Because like a lot of DJs, I see it all the time. I mean, you see it too, probably on Facebook and stuff. It's like the DJs are not playing people's music.
They don't do that anymore.
You know, so like, do you think that's a big factor why Charleston isn't, you know, up and like not up there yet, like Atlanta or like
as far as like up and coming artists? And stuff like that?
In the music industry. Because I mean, you've mixed in a bunch of different songs. I think you know what should be like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like what should be out there by now.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, man. I mean, my opinion is why I don't feel like Charleston as far as that they should be. Is just, I don't know. Maybe social media is helping out a little bit more, but I don't think people like promote themselves. Like, you know. And then till this day, man, like I know people who are like, I'm from Mount Pleasant, but this person who's a rapper in West Ashley, I don't know who he is. Yeah. Or I live in West Ashley, and I don't know about this rapper who lives in Somerville. Right. Or, you know, it's like people don't promote themselves. And then also, like, I feel like Charleston is a good, like, start. You know, it's a foot in the door where it's kind of like you kind of got to, like, learn and then kind of move on and travel and go to other cities and other states to promote your music. The internet helps with that. But I don't know. I don't really see a lot of people who are like super serious with it. And then this takes like a lot of patience, a lot of, you know, sacrifice that I don't think people are willing to stick through. And you gotta have money, man. Like you really gotta put a lot of money into this.
You do, man.
It takes a lot of money.
It definitely does. So like, we'll double back. I know I keep saying it, but I still want to get to like your story. You know what I'm saying? So like, after doing all this DJ stuff, when did you make the switch to do filming? Like when was that brought about?
Well, I was doing the mixtapes, and then I started doing DVDs. You know, I'm like a little bit older, so like I grew up on like the Smack DVDs. I don't know if you ever heard like Smack DVDs, man, but like it was basically, like, you know, different rappers, they might be in the studio, they might be in their own little hood, they might be hanging out doing
like
whatever.
Like some Gucci tapes and stuff like that?
I guess you could kind of like, yeah, you could kind of like, yeah, those are pretty much kind of like the same thing, man. But like, it was like my own little spin. You know, I like interviewed certain artists. Sometimes I was in front of the camera, sometimes I was behind the camera. You know, like people in the studio, I'd film them in the studio. They'd be doing shows. I'd come to their shows and film some of their stuff, and I'd make DVDs. So like, it kind of just slowly started to transition from me just doing it for my own like DVDs or my own things to like, I had friends who were like, yo, like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, like come help me out. Right. And I was like, okay, you know, I'll give it a try. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, it started getting fun. And then I started getting creative. And then I was, like I said, I was never big into clubs. Mm-hmm. So like, I saw the transitioning happening when it was like, okay, like the internet's coming through, like people aren't buying mixtapes and DVDs like how they used to. Yeah. Like there's all these websites like thatpiff.com and all these things popping up. Mm-hmm. And then it got to a point where I go out and people would be like, oh, this artist puts this stuff on the internet for free and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right, man, like what's the future going to be? Like, do I want to do this forever and is it going to last forever? And then I was like, well, the film is cool and the film is like something I could do till I'm old. Mm-hmm. And it's like, let me see what I can do with this. Let me try, because I always know that like there's so many different things that people could use a videographer for.
Definitely everything,
you know,
man.
From music videos to weddings
everything.
To commercials to so many different things. So I was like, that's a lane that I could get into, and I could see like a long lasting future with it. Mm-hmm. And it was already fun, like, you know. So I was like, I might as well try and see what happens.
So where did you start at? Like, what was your first experience? I know you said your homeboys would invite you. Like, who'd you collab with?
Like the first things that I was doing when I first started?
Because the first impression or the first time is always the most memorable. I don't care what anybody
man, it's been so long ago, man. Like, I really, like, someone asked me, like, what was, like, the first stuff that I filmed, and I wish I could remember. I can't. Wow. I know when I first started off, like, I filmed a lot of, like, bands. I filmed a lot of musicians.
Charleston?
I filmed a lot of, you know, people around that scene, because, like, there's so many different bands. There's so many different musicians. There's so many people who, like, I could get my foot in the door with doing it like that. So that was definitely, like, the first things that I was doing was, like, musicians and live shows and performances.
Yeah, that's good.
And then, like, it slowly started to turn to, like, people needed a commercial.
I was just gonna ask. So, like, what do you prefer? Like, what do you, if you were to wake up in the morning and you got a text, what would you want? Would you want the commercial work, or would you want like a concert or something like that?
I mean, honestly, man, like,
but it's a good question.
At this point, like, nothing against like bands and live performances, but it's like, I look at like the way my life is set up, and it's all about working smarter, not harder. You know what I'm saying? So like the band stuff is like, you got drunk people and they annoying, and then you got the people who want to touch the camera and they want to talk to you and stuff like that, and then you got to be out till like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And then like, not anything against musicians or bands and stuff like that, but like, money isn't everything, but like, they're not going to pay me the amount of money that a corporate event could pay me, or they're not going to pay me the same amount of money that I can get from filming a wedding.
Yeah, that's your worth.
So, I mean, I do stuff, live performances and band stuff still, but you know, like, I don't do them as much. I would much rather film a wedding. Or I'd much rather film like a corporate event where it's like, the money's not coming out of your pocket, the money's coming from the business. Because they have money set aside for stuff like that.
X and X. So like, you know, dang, I was just thinking of a magnificent question, and I was just, crap, man. So like, do you think that even doing what you're doing now, do you think that you're going to stay in that lane of just like trying to get more people to be photographers? I actually found out my question thinking that. But are you trying to get more photographers for yourself?
Like a team of people?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Like, you know, like if it happens, cool. You know, like being a one man is good. You know, and then also, like I said, working smarter, not harder. So like, I don't want to do 1 million gigs, but like if it gets to the point that the demand is so high that my company needs more than one person to go out there and do it, then yeah, like of course I definitely want to.
Is it just one person?
Yeah, it's just me. Like, I do everything myself, man. Bro. So I don't necessarily want that, but if it happened, you know, like that's something that would be definitely something that I would be willing to like look into. You know, like the future for me is like doing what I'm doing, but giving myself time to do my own little projects. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things just written down to be like, I want to be creative and I want to do these certain things, but I got to make sure I'm doing these other gigs to like take care of the family and get paid and do all of those things too. So the future is doing what I'm doing right now, but just have free time to do stuff that I want to do. Cause like I want to do like TV shows and all of that. Yeah, so yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, man. Where I'm at right now is like, you know, we it's building blocks, man. Like you got to go through so many steps to get to where you really want to be at. And like, you know, like I've accomplished a good bit, but like I know where I want to go. And what I'm doing now is kind of small compared to like what I know I'm going to be doing like 10 years from now.
No, facts. And we're going to dig into that. We're not done with your story, man. Right. I wanted to ask one more thing before we go, you know, further on with that. What kind of cameras do you have? We talked about it before, but some people would be interested to know to make work with you. Like, what kind of cameras you got?
It's older, like, well, not older, but bigger camera is Sony HXR MC2500. That's something I used. Like, real quick, man, like when I first started filming, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know what equipment to buy. I didn't know the best equipment to buy. So, like, that was one of my first cameras. It's a good camera, but it's not, like, it's a bigger camera. I use it more for stationary stuff. Like, you know, if I do an interview or if I do stuff where, like, it's just going to be on a tripod for a lot of time, for a long period of time. It's good on battery, you know, like the battery power like lasts forever. So those are, it's good for those things. Right now, I mainly use my Sony a7 III. I have 3 of those. A drone that I need more practice at, but I have a drone. And like I said, like there's handheld stuff that I don't ever really use because it's just old and there's really no use for them. Like I have a GoPro, you know, depending on like if I need to like get a shot that like needs something super small like a GoPro, then I use that. But my main camera is a Sony a7 III.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done. That's it. My bad. So like not just the camera though, but what is the dream camera for you? Like what do you think working on? Like what are you trying to get the most? Because I know there's a bigger mission. You say you're trying to do film and all that stuff. So like.
I don't know, like I really have to dive in a little bit more and then do my research. I know everybody wants to say the Red or the people who like are into film. They'd be like the Red camera or the bigger cameras like that are super popular. But I mean, if it just can give me what I need, I mean a lot of people want to get the best, which I mean, you need to have top quality equipment, but like, it's better to have the knowledge and have the eye, because you can have the best camera in the world, but if you don't know how to use it, and if you're not creative and you don't know how to put it together, then it doesn't matter. The guy can have a $100 camera and do better than you with a $20,000 camera.
Preaching to a choir, for real. That's a fact, man. Yeah. So let's dabble up a little bit more on what we were talking about earlier. So like, what do you consider your greatest accomplishments right now?
My greatest accomplishments?
Yeah.
Well, like video?
Just in general, like your life in as of right now.
My life?
Yeah. What would you say is your greatest accomplishment? And it don't have to be too personal, but I'm just asking because...
My greatest accomplishment?
Yeah.
It's just...
Because I saw you did stuff with Gamecocks, right? You did something with Gamecocks, am I correct?
Did I?
I saw on your Instagram, you took a picture with somebody with Gamecock shirt.
Oh, I did like a... It was like a little promo video, and it was one of the girls from the girls Gamecocks. Like they won a championship a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I did some stuff with her.
You got a lot of milestones. I think you've just been grinding so long that it's like you just grind. You stay focused.
Yeah, and I do so many different types of videos. It's kind of hard to like remember all the things that I do. I've done stuff for Carlos Dunlap, the NFL player.
Wow, he just won the Super Bowl too.
Yeah. I did. Last year I did his football camp. Not necessarily like say these are accomplishments. These are just some of the things that I did.
Milestones.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just like my greatest accomplishment is just like starting to figure life out. You know, like when we were talking earlier off camera, when you're young and you're ripping and running and you're doing all these things that it's like you don't really know what's important and what's not important. You're just a kid and you're just trying to get through life and you're having fun and you're doing all these things. And I think I'm at the point in my life where I'm trying to like figure out like everything that's important to me, where I'm going. I'm very strategic, so I have like 2-3 years of my life already planned out, you know, and then just being like, life is hard, but we make it harder than what it should be. You know, like if you get up every day and you try to be positive and you set goals for yourself and you work hard and do all these cliche things that people always talk about, then you know life is a little bit easier and it's clearer for you. And I think that's probably my greatest accomplishment, is just like figuring out like what I want to do with my life and seeing that it's going to be there. I just got to keep going until it gets there, you know? So like, I mean, and then of course, like being a father and a husband and stuff like that, those are great accomplishments too. But like my life every day, man, is just like about like being better and accomplishing goals. And then just, you get to the point, man, you want to stay out the way, man. Like when you're younger, you want to go out, you want to hang out, you want to be around all these people, you want to party, you want to do all these things, man. My greatest joy is being at home where I'm safe, man. Like, I'm not saying that I don't ever go out and do stuff, but like I did all that when I was younger. And now it's like, what are my goals? What am I trying to accomplish? What is the next thing that I want to do with my life? Like, where do I want to help my family be at 5-10 years from now? What do I want to instill in my daughter so she could look at me and be like, Daddy taught me these things? Like, those are the things that I care about now.
Yeah, no, and that's what makes you a great human, bro. I've known that since I met you, because like we've really been following each other back and forth for about like at least like 5-6 months now, man. So like, it's been great even just talking to you since 6, I think. But anyways, it's been beautiful, bro. I wanted to also ask you a question. Can you always be yourself when you wake up?
Of course, man. I gotta be me, man. Like, people, like I said, man, you got to figure life out, man. You got to figure out who you are. And once you live life a little bit, man, you start to find out what matters and what doesn't matter. And most of the shit that we do doesn't matter, man. Like, being a good person and trying to accomplish goals and being positive and working hard is what matters, man. When the camera's on, when the camera's off, when I'm talking to you or I'm talking to anybody, they get the same energy. Like, I'm gonna talk and be the same person I always am. Like, anybody who's around me is gonna be like, man, like SunFire always talking that positive shit. He don't never shut up about it. Like, that's who I am, always, every day.
Yeah, and please, I beg you, stay like that, bro. Don't let anything change you. Not money, not fame, not, you know what I mean, nothing. Because we're rare, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I keep this alien on. I got some other merch out now. If you're interested in a rocket, hit me up. But I got some merch that's just the alien, and it's like unique, different, rare, you know?
Right.
So that was some real stuff. I might have to do that for the clip, because like, I don't mean to talk a lot, because I know this is you,
no,
you know?
Good, man.
But it's like people don't know how to be themselves anymore, and that's the problem with this world. It's like you're so worried about what that person's doing or what that person's doing, and you're trying to match their shoes and get the girls they're getting. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Just be yourself, and then everything else will fall into place, you know?
Yeah.
So like, it's been beautiful, bro. Where can we find you on social media? Like, where do you... I know we talked about Facebook and stuff like that, but what's like your major outlet on social media?
Social media, man, I get a lot of clients, and a lot of people find me on Facebook. People say it's for older people, but like honestly, man, like the older people are the ones who spend their money anyway.
Yeah, no, that's where can we find you though?
Facebook, my real name's Andrew Conyers. You'll find me. Okay. People have seen the cartoon logo a million times.
It's hard, that's an icon picture.
Appreciate that, man.
That's an icon picture.
And then Instagram, I go on that a good bit too, but Instagram's younger. You know, I like to go on there and promote too, but that's SunFire Films #1, and you can find me on there. The cartoon logo, you'll see that again. My website is www.booksunfirefilms.com. You can go on there, see some of my work too. And yeah, man.
Definitely check out the website. I've been looking at that, as you can tell. I've been watching this stuff for a minute now. I want to say, like, when we first met, I was like, you know, thinking it was just going to be the business thing. And then like I gradually started and got to know you and stuff, because social media is really powerful, man, especially seeing your inspirational video. That was the first time I ever was like, yo, who is this dude, man? I like this, bro, you know, because I want to get energy with that, you know? I love feeding people that energy. So is there anything else you want to talk about? Do you feel like there's anything I could have said, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure I hit on. Because we're coming back next year and doing another one. That's what we do. Every person that I have, I bring them back on next year, and we dabble in a little bit more. And it's not like a to be continued, but just more of like what's been going on. There's more deeper things that you've been through. You know what I mean? I don't want to give everybody everything. It's like giving everybody the food. Now you want to, you know? So like, is there anything else you want to talk about or anything?
Not really, man. Just like, I mean, people have heard my spiel over and over again, man. It's like, I just like to always repeat myself to be like, you know, no matter what you want to do in life, man, like, try. And you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, be positive, work hard, you know, you're going to have to make sacrifices. You're going to definitely have to be patient, man. And, you know, be a good person, man. Like, if you're a good person and you're positive, just those two things alone, man, like, things are going to start to happen. And, like, the one thing that's definitely helped me out in life is making goals. Like, I make monthly goals, I make yearly goals, and, like, you're big into music, you know, and I started off doing music, and I realized over the years that, like, you'll see people, this is just an example, music, but, like, you'll see people who rap and sing and do all these things, and then, like, a couple years later, they disappear. And then you're like, oh, what happened to that person? And then, you know, I've had conversations with some of these people, and it's like, oh, I stopped because I got to work, and I got to take care of my family, and I can't do it no more. And I get that. But it's like, you know, you gotta set these small goals for yourself, and it kind of like helps you be like, I'm accomplishing things, I'm progressing, and it makes you want to stick these things out even though it's hard for yourself. You know, like, that's helped me a lot in life. It's just seeing like, okay, like, these are the big goals here, but like, these are all the small goals, and if I'm taking these steps to get the small goals done, that makes me a little bit more eager to keep going. You know, like, people give up because they don't see the results. But a lot of times the results, the goals they have are so big that it's like, oh yeah, I didn't get a record deal and it's already been 5 years. But I was like, did you do everything that you could do to get there? Did you accomplish all those small goals first? And you probably didn't even make goals, because most people don't really make goals.
And please make goals. And you see my whiteboard, I don't play with goals, bro. That's my biggest motivation. I had to stop making videos about goals because I think people are annoyed about it. But maybe that's a good thing. But I was also going to say about what you're saying, because that's some real stuff, is but people will feel worse later on in life when they didn't keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to go around and be that grandpa or grandma and be like, you know, I was once doing this, and I could have did this. I was with Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, no, but you didn't. You know what I mean? You stopped. So that's powerful, bro, and that's worldwide. Man, I got so many parts I'm about to clip out of this and just use, because it's some real stuff, man. So again, dude, thank you. SunFire Films, number one. Thank you for hopping on here, bro. It's been beautiful, bro. And like, keep grinding, keep being the inspirational person that you are, because we need positivity. And I'll even ask you this and this. Listen, you don't have to answer. But it's like, how will you make a difference in the world? Every single day you wake up, how are you going to make a difference in the world? Be yourself. Simple as that. SunFire Films, thank you for hopping on. I know I dapped you up, but it's been fun, bro. It's a beautiful conversation. Remember, stay true to yourself. The only way to achieve your dreams is through you. Nobody else is going to do it. You got to get up every single day and want it. I love every single one of you guys. Peace.